Alex Wiker here, owner and principal attorney at Amigos Immigration Law and Services. And today I'm here to talk to you about if there is any way to avoid the COVID-19 vaccine requirement for the green card, and if so, how to do it. Now, if you're applying for a green card or an immigrant visa to the United States, at some point you are likely going to have to take a medical exam. And as part of that medical exam, you're going to be required to provide certain vaccinations. And right now, part of that list is the COVID-19 vaccine. Now, if you are somebody who does not want to take that vaccine for whatever reason, there are a couple options available to you. So first of all, I'd like to talk about what exactly is the requirement and what are the consequences of not following that requirement if you have to do it. So first of all, the requirement is that if you are required to take it, that is, if it's age appropriate, you are going to have to get the complete initial inoculation of the COVID-19 vaccine. Normally, this would be 1 or 2 shots for an adult or 2 or 3 shots for a child. That's it. You don't have to be boosted. You don't have to, go back later on with proof that you got an additional shot after you've had the initial inoculation. You just need to have the initial series of shots. Now, if you are required to get the vaccine, the consequences of not getting the vaccine are that your green card is going to get denied. Okay, now some people say, well, I'm just going to go in and bring this fake handy dandy COVID-19 card with me. I'll show it to the doctor and I won't have to get the vaccines. I would advise against that. I mean, if you're caught, obviously you're going to get denied anyway, but additionally, that is committing fraud or misrepresentation before a federal agency, and there's going to be additional immigration consequences attached to that. Definitely would not recommend having a fake COVID-19 card. Now, there are certain people who will get something called a blanket waiver to the COVID-19 requirement. What a blanket waiver is that when you go into the medical examiner and you tell them this situation, they will exempt you from the COVID-19 vaccine. You don't have to apply for anything. It's just something that you have to communicate to the doctor. These blanket waivers include age inappropriate. So for the COVID-19 vaccine, anybody over 6 months old has to get the vaccine. So that's generally not going to be very helpful for anybody, even a small child, considering the length of the process to get a green card. Pretty much everybody's going to be over 6 months by the time they get to the vaccine requirement. One other blanket waiver would be for a contraindication. What that is, essentially, you have maybe a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine. For instance, you've gotten a single dose of the initial inoculation and you almost died, something like that. If that has happened to you, then you should provide proof of having a single dose or initial dose or some other proof that you have a severe allergic reaction to it, and then you should be able to get the blanket waiver there. Another contraindication might be being pregnant or having some other type of severe immune deficiency or other condition that would make you medically incapable of getting the COVID-19 vaccine. Another blanket waiver would be, and this would only be if you are outside of the United States, would be for somebody coming from a country where the COVID-19 vaccine is not available, or the type of vaccine that is being required by the United States government is not available. So if you're from a country where there's an off-brand or a different brand, a local brand of the vaccine, and nothing else is available, or the law prohibits you from getting some other type of COVID-19 vaccine, then in that case, you can get a blanket waiver for the COVID-19 vaccine. Some other potential exemptions would be if you're an adoptee who's under 10 years of age. If that's the case, then the parents can sign a waiver stating that the child will get the COVID-19 vaccine within 30 days of arrival at the United States. So they don't have to get the vaccine before coming. They just need a written statement saying they promise they will get the vaccine after they get here. Other than that, there are some other people who don't have to generally get the medical exam whenever they're getting the green card. Those are kind of narrow Like fiancés usually get a medical exam before they come to the United States and apply for the green card. Same thing with refugees. The biggest population who I think are interested in knowing about the waiver are those who are either religiously or morally opposed to the COVID-19 vaccine. And luckily for you, there is a waiver available. This is not a blanket waiver. This is actually a separate waiver that you have to file for in addition to your green card application. You have to file it on Form I-601. It has to be filed with USCIS. There's a filing fee right now. That filing fee is $930. What this special waiver does, it is for people who are opposed to not just the COVID-19 vaccine. You have to be opposed to all vaccinations. Your opposition to being vaccinated is due to a religious or moral reason. And the third requirement is that this religious or moral opposition must be a sincerely held belief. So again, 3 requirements. You're opposed to all vaccines, not just COVID-19. This opposition is due to a religious or moral conviction. And third, your religious or moral conviction is sincere. So whenever you're filing this waiver, you need to provide proof that will support this 3 points. So generally it would be an affidavit or a statement, maybe some proof of belonging to certain religious or other medical, philosophical organizations, and your activity within those organizations. As far as the sincerity prong, that during your interview, the officer is going to question you about your belief, and they're going to be watching your body language and listening very closely to your explanation to make sure that it's not something, and you're not somebody who is just doesn't want to get the COVID-19 vaccine. Now, in case you're wondering, if you have been vaccinated before, it does not automatically make you ineligible for this waiver. You can still have been vaccinated, but be opposed to vaccines now. So for instance, you were vaccinated as a child, it was your parents or your school who forced you to go get vaccinated. Later on, you grew up, you changed your beliefs, and now you do not believe in vaccines, you do not want to get vaccinated, your beliefs have changed. So if that is the case, then you need to explain that in your statement and in your testimony. But don't feel like just because you have been vaccinated for something before that you can't do it now. However, I highly recommend that if you want to apply for this waiver, do not get any more vaccines. You're going to be denied for the waiver. You can't pick and choose at this point. So I hope that's helpful to other people out there, and good luck.